Welcome, friends. Today we are doing some first impressions of some samples that were sent to me by Ryan Scott, or Raz Scott, as you know him. Raz Scott is a fragrance hero. He has been on YouTube in the comments, and he used to make videos, and he's been around for like years. He remembers the original fragrance reviewers, you know. He goes back a long way, and I recently got talking to him. And I know that he's lived local, like I say local, he lives about an hour away from us, which is kind of local considering it's a worldwide community. So I said to him, I was like, oh, if you want anything, let us know, I'll send you some samples. And he was like, yeah, do the same. So I sent him some samples, and then he said to me, yeah, look, this is what I've got, have a look and choose some things. And so I chose these three, and also, not off him, I bought this off Greggy Boy. It is 3 mils of the Dawn by Frederic Malle. And I'm looking forward to testing that. The three that Ryan sent us are a vintage tea for two, a vintage Pi by Givenchy, and these are all vintage. Now, Tom Ford's Sahara Noir. Now, these are some pretty great fragrances here. I'm looking forward to trying the Sahara Noir the most because of all the hype. But the L'Artisan tea for two as well, I'm definitely looking forward to smelling that. Ryan, if you want to leave a comment, I'll pin it, and you can tell us how old the bottles are or anything you want to say about them, and I'll pin it so everyone can see. If you don't, just say I don't need to pin it, and I won't. Anyway, we will start at the beginning, and we'll go side to side. We'll start with L'Artisan. We'll save the Tom Ford for last. So L'Artisan tea for two. Right, I've always wanted to smell this. I quite like a tea note. I've got 5 o'clock au gingembre by Serge Luton, and I have got Gucci Pour Homme 2, which is a big tea fragrance. Anyway, right, we'll spray this one, and we'll see what it's like. I got that straight away. Tea for two. Instantly get Gucci Pour Homme 2 from that. The tea note's the same. It's the same tea note. It's surrounded by different things. I also get a biscuity facet. It's a little bit sweet. I don't know what the notes are. I'm not going to check them. I'm just going to tell you what I get as a first impression. Sweet tea, biscuit, sort of like a spice in there as well. It's warm. It's warm, spicy. Something a little bit twangy, like ginger. I bet it's got ginger in it. That might be the biscuity sort of thing. It might be like a ginger sort of biscuit, because 5 o'clock au gingembre has got the same sort of contrast in it, the tea with the ginger. And that's what this smells like. I also get a huge Gucci Pour Homme 2 vibe from it. It's definitely the same tea note. It's just supported by different things. They should bring that tea note back. It's really nice. But yes, that's really nice. This is apparently an older bottle of tea for two. Came out in the I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. And it's been reformulated and put into different bottles, and people are saying the performance isn't as good and it doesn't smell quite as nice, and it's just the same old story really, isn't it? So anyhow, we'll move on to the next one, Givenchy Pi. I eyed this up for years when I was first starting, as like an amber, like a vanilla sort of amber thing. I sort of know what's in this, so I'm like what to expect. It's like an amber fragrance, so we will see. All right, hold on. Oh, spray went in a different direction. Sweet. Oh, a little bit dry as well. Sweet, dry. Instantly taken to this. Please don't fall. There we are. Cristobal by Balenciaga. It smells very much like this. I'd be interested to see when the Pi came out. I know this came out in like the early 2000s. I think it was 2003. Big amber, benzoine in this, definitely vanilla in this, and I'm getting like a Battenberg vibe. Marzipan. Oh, fudge. Anyway. Yeah, that's really nice. What goes into marzipan? Almonds. Yeah, I got a big almond note from this. There's no top to this. There's no top to this at all. It's all base note. It's all like, it's not a syrupy sweet sort of thing. It's like a crumbly sweet. You know, like Battenberg like can be like quite dry and a little bit crusty on the outside. If you brush it, then it'll like crumbs will come off it. It's got that sort of vibe. Instantly reminds us of Balenciaga Pour Homme. I'm not sure I would buy a bottle of this. It's a designer amber. And I'm trying to lay off the pie. So, yes, I like that. It's very pleasant. It's benzoin, it's marzipan, almonds, and like a vanilla, huge vanilla. Designer, like 20-year-old, like a 2000s designer fragrance, late 90s, that kind of thing. Definitely all over. Next, we'll be trying the Dawn, which I bought from Greggy Boy at Fragrance Samples UK. It wasn't cheap because these things go for £1,000. £1,000 for 100ml. So buying 3ml, perfect. I ain't going to be spending £1,000 on a bottle of fucking almost anything. The amount of stuff you could buy for £1,000, you get like 5 great vintage fragrances, like great vintage fragrances. Like £200 for a vintage fragrance is a lot of money. You could get 5 brilliant fragrances for that. I wouldn't spend £1,000 on one bottle of anything, I don't think. Even vintage Koros, even Balenciaga. Because I don't need to, I've got loads of it. Anyway. Frederic Malle, Dawn. What do you smell like? Yes, I've already primed these. Oh, straight away I get the promise. I get that saffron, sort of oily, appley sort of vibe instantly, and then it's gone. And now comes the oud. This has got huge oud in it. It's got the same oud as the night, but it's supported differently. It's got different supporting notes in it. Definitely. Yes. It's got a freshness, but it's also got like a dark shittiness as well. Smells like countryside, you know when they've been spreading shit. So it's not like immediate shit. It's not like a person's shit. It's like a vegetarian shit, like a cow's shit. Countryside sort of vibe. Not like the shit you get from the night, which is just rancid. Not a big fan. I don't think waiting 2 hours, 3 hours for that to dry down is worth the rest of the fragrance. It is nice when it dries down, but I don't particularly want to smell like that. It's nice, but I wouldn't recommend buying a bottle of that ever. It has got that fecal sort of crappy thing going on. Fresh, woody now. Getting wood from it too. It's interesting. It's never worth the price. Get your cellar decant like I did. People will be buying bottles of that and decanting it. They'll be making a fortune, and they should be as well. If you're willing to put up £1,000, because I wouldn't buy a bottle of that, I must admit. So now we come on to the one I have been waiting for. I've never smelled this before. Right? So I'm looking forward to this. Tom Ford's Sahara Noir. The prices on this are absolutely scandalous. Bonkers. But I will spray this on my right hand. There we go. Please be nice. What do I think? Let's have a wait. I get a brandy sauce sort of vibe, like an alcohol sort of vibe, a darkness, a little bit of sweetness. I don't know if this is like meant to be following in the footsteps of L'air du Desert Marocain, you know, with the whole like desert sort of vibe. Ambery, woody. Bit of incense, something a little bit bitter at the top, but not too bitter. A little bit sweet now as well. It's quite nice, that, actually. It's very Tom Ford. It's got a smoky sort of vibe, you know, like a you know, after you've struck a match, and not the sulphur, but that sort of tang. It's got that, and then it's very dry, and it's also, I'm getting a lot of sweet amber now, resins, thick. Yeah, that's really nice, that. Based on first impression, literally, like, it's like less than a minute. I don't think I would pay the prices on eBay for it, but it is very nice. It's a Tom Ford. You imagine, like, when Tom Ford was like at his zenith. The fact that this was in the signature line, it was released 10 years ago, I want to say. I remember talking to a sales associate at Tom Ford when the Metro Centre was, when House of Fraser, when the Metro Centre was open, and they said they were gutted, but it didn't sell very well. So that when they discontinued it, they were gutted, but it didn't sell very well. I think it only came in 50ml bottles as well. That's really nice. It's an incense, sweet, resinous perfume, a designer one. It's a little bit dark. It's a little bit smoky. It's mysterious, and it's really nice. The one I've been most impressed. So I really like that. Would I pay the prices? If I could find a decent bottle for a decent price, I would buy it. If not, I wouldn't. I have to be honest. I have other fragrances that do very similar things. That fucking Dawn is kicking. Oh, it's reaching out and trying to rip me tonsils out. Ooh. That Sahara Noir is really nice. It's very dry as well. My favourite one so far, probably L'Artisan, followed by the Sahara Noir, then the Dawn, and then Pi. I've got to be honest, I'm not too impressed by Pi. The Dawn, I would never pay that kind of money, get a decant. So yes, there are my first impressions of these 4 fragrances. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me know if you've smelled them. Let me know what you think. And yes, thank you very much. I will see you again. Ta-da.